Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining our live session today as we dive into our latest study, the direct booking acceleration. We are thrilled to have you with us. We are delighted to be joined by two esteemed hoteliers who will help analyze the key findings and share their valuable insights. First, let me introduce Phillip Winter, Chief Marketing Officer at A&O Hotels and Hostels. Phillip, it's wonderful to have you here. Welcome.
Thank you, Michaela.
Thank you. We would love to hear more about you. Could you please introduce yourself and share a bit about what you do and what your daily business is?
Yes, sure. So welcome everyone from my side as well. My name is Phillip Winter. I'm Chief Marketing Officer of A&O Hostels. Since 2017, I'm responsible for PMS development, for e-development at A&O, for online-offline sales, and for on and offline marketing. Who's A&O Hostels? We run today 28,000 beds in 41 hostels across Europe in 11 countries. We managed about 6 million overnights per year. We are a relatively new company. We are facing our 25th anniversary next year. Maybe in context of today's presentation, it's important to know that we run a fully customized IBE with full connectivity to RMS, which is a Pace Flyer, and fully integration to PMS, which is ASSD. It's a small niche product for a hostel business.
Cool, thank you. And a warm welcome to our second guest, Sascha Seefried, Director of Revenue, Distribution and Operations at Jumeirah Hotels and Resorts. Sascha, we're pleased to have you with us today. And would you mind introducing yourself as well?
Good morning and good afternoon to wherever you're dialing in from today. My name is Sascha. I'm the head of distribution for Jumeirah Hotels, looking after the electronic distribution for the brand, and that includes everything from our customer IBE, B2B, distribution, B2C. Now, Jumeirah is a Dubai-born brand. For the ones that don't know Jumeirah, you may be familiar with a couple of our iconic properties such as the Burj Al Arab or the Marina Jumeirah. We have a small inventory then has to handle on a daily basis. It's not 40,000. We're running on 8,500 keys at the moment in 26 properties across the globe. We are in Asia, then a large portfolio is in the Middle East, obviously Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and the rest of the Gulf countries. And in Europe, we are in such beautiful locations as Capri, Mallorca, or in London. Good to be here today.
Fantastic. Great to have you both. So before we begin, we would like to give a big shout out to our sponsors appearing on the screen now. Thank you so much for everyone for making this study possible. Okay, so for some background information, we would first like to start by showing you which hotel chains participated in our study. Very important to note here, no independent hotels took part, so the study is focused solely on hotel chains. So in total, we had 88 hotel chains participating, with 69% being small chains, so meaning that they have between 3 to 29 properties. Then we had the medium-sized chains making up 23% of the hotel chains that participated, and the medium-sized chains have between 30 to 99 properties. And then last but not least, we had 7 large chains participating. So that is any chain above 100 properties. So now let's dive into our first finding.
Yes, and one of the central topics we explored in this study was the pace at which direct bookings are accelerating. Our previous findings highlighted a significant increase from 19% in 2019 to 29% in 2022. With online direct IBE bookings surged during the pandemic, 2022 was an exceptional year influenced by the unique circumstances. Our 2023 data shows that this spike wasn't sustainable and trends have since stabilized. COVID-19 severely impacted international tourism in 2020 and 2021, with arrivals dropping over 70%. However, by late 2022, we observed a strong rebound, particularly in IBE bookings, as travelers adapted to changing conditions. In 2023, we are seeing a return to more normalized patterns. IBE bookings continue to grow steadily. OTA and GDS shares are stable, and offline bookings are declining. Compared to pre-pandemic years, online direct channels have clearly gained traction. And now up to you, so Sascha and Philip, what are your thoughts on this trend, and do you see this being reflected in your hotels? And maybe Philip, you would like to begin, and then maybe Sascha.
Yes, honestly, we did not saw a positive pandemic outlier to IBE. We had a shift to OTAs, but now 2023 and even this year in 2024, we are back to 2019 numbers of about 35 to 40% direct IBE bookings at A&O. As a budget hostel product, we don't have cooperations with GDS channels. That's purely too expensive for us, for our customers. Offline is really important for us because we handle a lot of group bookings, group requests. So to rank it in our numbers here, I would say number one is definitely IBE at A&O with similar measurements to OTAs. And number three is offline.
Thank you. Sascha?
Yeah, I mean, I can second what Philip said on OTAs. We see a similar pattern here where OTAs actually, drastically increased versus 2019 when it comes to the OTA volume. But I think the one number that stood out to me when I looked at the numbers the first time was 36% in offline, that there was no shift from 2019. And that's something that's, personally very dear to my heart, that my goal is to have that 36% in a single digit number, right? Because anything offline means there's additional resources involved that needs to manage these reservations, whether that is, reservation entry related, payment related, and all of that. So what we've done actually over the last, 3 to 4 years is we reduced that number from a double digit, so we reduced it by more than 50%. We're very close now to a single digit number in terms of offline reservations. And that means also, having various distribution means in place to enable electronic distribution for other channels, whether that is what Philip mentioned on the group side, but also on the B2B reseller side, right? Whether that is travel agent business, corporate, anything, shifting everything. And it doesn't matter if it's a dynamic rate agreement with a wholesaler or even a static agreement that you may have in place today from a historical traditional email-based reservation channel or phone. I don't think we have fax anymore, right? I think that's fine. But shifting those contracts also electronically and reducing that increases efficiency. There's only additional benefits to that. So I was surprised that has actually not gone down.
Yeah, a good point. We had in 2019 we had more large chains participating, so they drive that up. So typically, if we only compare the small and medium-sized chains, we see a drop in offline. But yeah, not a very dramatic shift downwards. So for sure. But what about your CROs? Do you both have a CRO, and are you trying to reduce that, or is that still an important part?
We have a central reservation office, but the volume that comes through our CRO is minimal, and it's insignificant compared to the overall volume. So we've got one in place. It's not like that. They're just waiting for the next call, and we've got looking team members in silence at the telephone. But it's a very small number that we have coming through this year for us.
For us, it's again a bit bigger, basically because of the group business, which is just handled a bit different than leisure business or corporate business. And but here, automation is also key. For example, in our service centers, for single reservations as well as for group reservations. I implemented a bot functionality this year. Right now, it's more an FAQ bot handling first level support questions, but for sure, within the next half year, I will run also some bookability inside the bot environment plus payment options inside the bot environment to make this kind of offline booking, partly online booking, without changing the channel on the guest side.
Okay.
Interesting. Cool. So let's jump to our second key finding and let's take a closer look at what makes up the IBE share by application and device. So mobile bookings have seen significant growth, increasing from 36% of total IBE revenue in 2019 to 42% in 2023. And desktop remains the primary booking channel, but has experienced a gradually decline in share. And mobile app usage has seen only modest growth overall. Large hotel chains lead in app adoption, probably driven by their scale and loyalty programs. And they have a share of 12% in 2023. And among the 21 chains that have an app, the average revenue share is 13%. And yeah, so Sascha and Phillip, both your hotel chains offer an app, right? So can you share about more about your strategies and about apps and bookings overall?
Yes.
Sure.
Sascha, go first.
Do I go?
Yeah, go ahead,
Okay,
Sascha.
okay. Yes, we do offer a mobile app, right? And especially when it comes to the application, I think when you look at numbers today from major OTAs, applications have overtaken the majority of the booking volume that is coming through their apps. Take Booking.com, take Expedia. When you look at the numbers, they're driving more through the app now than they do through desktop. At least the numbers that I'm seeing from them. So, when I get the question, how do we compete with that? It's not really a matter of competing anymore. It's how do you stand out? So, besides having in your application a booking process that is efficient, that is compared to OTAs as smooth and as quick as possible. I think the difference when it comes to app adoption here and app development is the integration of additional benefits and services, and that is either post reservation, during your stay, and post stay. Meaning, how do you integrate the retention of a customer? And it doesn't necessarily need to be a loyal customer, member. But how do you engage? How do you incentivize a customer that books on your app to actually remain on that app, continue to engage with that solution? And that could be anything from check-in to F&B elements, ordering room service, customer interaction, all the way up to checkout, and then post-stay, whether that is guest reviews, whether that is lost and found integration, anything. So I think that's where we have the opportunity to actually compete with travel agent or mobile applications.
Absolutely, yeah.
Look, what about
maybe some words about A&O here. Maybe it's also important to know that our core target group in FIT travel is between 18 and 36 years. That's why I assume a really more tech or mobile related customer base than maybe compared to the average here in the studies. We definitely see a increasing number of mobile usage, app plus mobile. And here the numbers are in the high 70s at A&O, which is much higher than we can see in these numbers here in the studies. But again, this is maybe or most likely related to our core target group. And again, about the apps, as Sascha said, it's more about some benefits beside the pure booking functionality. That's why, for example, we offer our guests a mobile key in our app environment. They have the full bar menu. They can do the bar order inside the app environment, some extra housekeeping orders and stuff like that. So it's, again, as already said, it's more how to engage customers not just pre-stay, during the stay and post-stay, to interact with your app to keep the guest in your environment is definitely key.
Yeah, for sure. Sounds good. Maybe we'll jump to a question from the audience. Going back to the CRO, Dominic asked if you see an increased importance from loyalty members versus normal guests in the call center. Philip, what are your thoughts on that?
I would answer with a clear no. And I can track it because I have a VIP line for members.
Okay.
And I don't see an increasing traffic here, or that they have different requests, or that they really need an human interaction. So from our side, the answer is no.
Cool. Sascha, do you have a VIP line for your members?
And not necessarily a VIP line, but you see, I mean, we're operating in the ultra luxury segment, right? And when I look at properties like the Burj Al Arab or the Marina at Jumeirah, you know, the higher end suite inventory, you know, when you have an ADR that is in the thousands per night, then the type of customer you get, they may not be satisfied with just a mobile application, but there's additional services that need to be considered. So like Philip said, the human interaction is key to that. And that is the clientele that is mainly using our CRO.
Interesting. Cool. Thank you, guys. Let us jump to the next key finding, and then maybe we'll address one of the audience questions there as well.
Yes, so next we asked hotel chains about the biggest challenges that have impacted their online direct sales goals. And here you can see the results compared to our 2020 study. OTA competition remains the top barrier to direct sales, with little change since 2020. And traffic acquisition has improved slightly, but remains a significant hurdle for driving direct bookings. There is a need for more IBE capabilities. As you can see, an increase of 17 percentage points from 2020 shows that many hotels still require more advanced booking engine functionality. Interesting to note here is the large gap between large chains versus small chains that raised this point, which could also be due to the higher usage of fully customized IBEs by large chains. Last but not least, let me dive deeper into the rate parity issues that area has improved, but is still a challenge, especially for large chains. And this brings me to two questions that we have for Sascha and Philip. So the first question is, what do you see as the biggest challenges today? And the second question is, have your rate parity issues seen a decrease? Whoever would like to start.
Yeah, maybe I start this time. And I would say maybe this OTA competition and rate priority is kind of same, I would say. And it's not an issue for us at A&O in Europe, but for sure, I mean, the OTAs are the biggest competitors versus IBE bookings. The point is, if we can't get the initial first-time booking direct, we have to do a lot of actions to transfer all returning customers, at least, to direct bookers, like membership programs, discount codes, best price strategies. But also, I have to admit, as an expanding or growing brand, I see also advantages in partners like Expedia, Booking.com, whoever. Means if our brands open a hostel in a new country where my brand awareness is relatively low, I like to cooperate with OTAs to generate great revenues. Means with commissions, let's say, scope of 10 to 20%, these partners are much cheaper than more traditional GDS or wholesalers, where I potentially lose my price control on top. Yeah, all other topics like IBE capabilities, lack of resources, missing tech is not that important for me as maybe for others. But I also have to admit at this point that I have a internal development department with 9 developers that are improving our tech stack every day.
Cool.
Thank you, Philip.
Yeah, I mean, just to add to what Philip said, I mean, OTAs, right? I mean, yes, they are competitors, but they're also a channel that, you know, if being managed effectively, can drive a higher profitability than some other third-party channels. And OTA competition, and I mean, when I looked at this like the first time, I was like, OTA competition is a result of pretty much everything that follows below, right? I mean, traffic acquisition is, well, you know, the money that's being invested from an OTA into online marketing. There's no brand in the world that compete with, you know, the funds that are being invested into traffic acquisition. IBE capabilities, when I look at IT departments and tech departments in hotel brands versus OTAs, we're talking 10 people versus 1,000, right? So again, you know, what are the resources that we have available and to develop IBE capabilities? But then it comes down to, you know, having that discussion, engaging with your IBE provider, whether that is a CRS or a third-party channel, on what's the roadmap, what needs to be developed. And I've seen colleagues that would just, you know, take what is being provided without challenging solutions, or actually sitting down with a vendor and say what's needed and how can we develop the platform that we have today. And if you're on a custom IBE, and Philip and I were both on a custom IBE, I think there are bigger opportunities, and you're not limited to what the vendor provides you. You kind of do your own thing. So that enables you to sort of experiment with different, you know, acquisition factors. Budget, we don't need to talk about budget, rate parity. The challenge here is how broad is the distribution network? Having some sort of background.
Yeah, I think, I'm not sure who is it coming from. I think it's from you, actually. Maybe you can switch to your headset.
Yes.
Is it me?
Yeah.
It's gone now. I don't hear it anymore.
Yeah, okay, so it's Michaela. Okay, she's changing that. Okay, perfect. So maybe let me then raise the question, Sascha, for you from Michael Madison. What do you see as the key success factors for driving bookings through your hotel website? Like, how do you compete with those OTAs that you just mentioned?
Yeah, I think it's a multitude of factors, right? I mean, one is the streamlined booking process. How easy it actually. Do you hear me, Christine?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. It's the booking process, right? How streamlined is your booking process? How easy it is actually to convert from a booking inquiry to the reservation. Then it's payment integration. Whether you offer member-only rates, and we're going to talk about loyalty programs in a second, are you offering additional retail elements? So is retail part of your IBE strategy? Is that how you stand out? And it's the quality of the content. I mean, sometimes I still see websites that, you know, even though it's hotel-owned content, where OTAs have a better representation of properties than on brand.com. So it's a multitude of all these factors that actually play into the success of our website.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. So let us then jump to the next slide. Let's talk about loyalty, since we've already talked about it a bit as well. What is the status of loyalty and rewards programs at hotel chains today, based on our studies? So 49% of all participating chains offer a loyalty or rewards program. And large and medium-sized chains have high loyalty program adoption, while small chains seem to lag behind. And regionally, the Americas lead with 100% of hotel chains actually offering a loyalty or rewards program, while APAC is actually much lower at 17%, with only 1 out of 6 chains offering a program. And then overall, loyalty and rewards programs contribute 27% of total revenue on average. So as we said, both of you guys have your own loyalty and rewards programs. Do you see this steadily growing in adoption? Like, do you see members rising? Phillip?
I mean, of course, our program is relatively new. We launched it by summer last year as a paid subscription membership model first. Then we changed it to a free membership model this spring. And yeah, we saw really an increase in enrollments after it's free of subscription. Now we have 170,000 members in the program, basically enrolled within the last 6 months. So it's definitely an increasing number because we started at 0. But again, as also said in the study, the biggest benefit for our members is discounted or lower member rates, with discounts up to 25%. And yeah, why we do so? Because to have something compatible with Booking.com Genius. And yeah, so yes, to give you an answer here, we see an increasing number in needs and memberships. As far as I know, we are the only hostel operator on the market that have a loyalty program, and it's definitely worth to do so, to have a good argument to beat Genius program, to have loyal members, to own customer data. So I think it's a clear success here for us.
Cool. Sascha, what about you?
Same for us. And I mean, when it comes to loyalty programs, growth rate of either redemption or member base is one of the key measurement of success. And if that doesn't grow, then I guess the program is up for debate whether it's still successful or not. So that needs to grow on a continuous basis year on year, right? The other thing on loyalty programs, and when you look at large and medium chains, most of us do have a loyalty program in place, right? And they vary across the different brands, more on experiences, more on point redemption. But I think the core concept is the same overall, and the question is what's next, right? Where's the evolution of our loyalty programs that we have today? Because we see the OTAs have already moved into that space a long time ago with their own loyalty programs, right? So again, how do you stand out? How do you differentiate yourself? And I think the next big thing when it comes to loyalty programs is payment integration, such a thing as wallets, right? So if you had a brand wallets integration where I can either discount, offer member rates by a wallet discount, or that you have personal wallets that you can utilize across a multitude of properties. I think payment integration is the next thing that loyalty programs will need to adapt or integrate.
Very good. Okay, so yeah, let's jump to our next key finding.
Yes, and that's the strategic alignment of stakeholders. And so let's talk about it. And when it comes to defining and executing the direct sales strategy, we actually asked hotel chains to score 3 different areas on a scale from 0 to 10. And the highest level of alignment, as you can see here, is seen in defining a direct sales strategy with a score of 7.7 out of 10. Budget allocation follows at 7.0, and technology, IT selection, and implementation scores the lowest at 6.7. So while most chains prioritize alignment on direct sales strategy, there is less coordination when it comes to technology and budget allocation. And our question to you, Phillip and Sascha, is can you share your thoughts on these results? And is it similar or totally different?
Surprisingly, it's not totally different. I would say that maybe 80%, maybe even more, of our annual marketing spending is for e-commerce to push direct sales. So we are more than aligned. We are very aligned across all departments. I mean, we also have and love to have partnerships with third parties, but direct sales is always the highest priority for our sales, marketing, and tech departments. So I would say our scores are more between 8 and 10 for all these 3 fields.
Very good. Congratulations.
I think, what adds to that here is that because we have a difference here when we look at the first pillar here, right, and that is sales strategy, right? So when you define a sales strategy and you define your sales goals, most likely you're only talking to commercial stakeholders, whether these are, it doesn't matter if you sit in revenue management, you will be talking to your colleagues from distribution, from digital marketing, from sales, but these are all commercial roles. As you move away from that, and when we look at the 6.7, and that's on technology IT, you suddenly bring in other stakeholders that not necessarily have commercial objectives on a day-to-day basis. They have objectives that are more related around, other measurements, KPIs that may not necessarily be commercial related, and that's why tends to move away, or where you have misalignment. So I think when it comes to, and we can take the example of selection of technology or IT, is key in the beginning is that you tie your goals to a broader business objective, what's common benefit for the company rather than just only commercial. And you do that in the beginning, and once you've got the alignment of that, then it's regular communication plan, continuous collaboration that follows through. But without that initial alignment on the broader business goals, that would lead then to, friction, to more and more discussions around where do we want to go in that
very
process.
good point.
So I think it's the beginning.
Thank you, Sascha. Yeah.
Okay, so let's dive more deeply into the IBE and look at the most important IBE features that the hotel chains see. So the top 3 priorities are the display of multiple and alternative rooms, extended payment solutions, like you mentioned, Sascha, before, and personalized loyalty and member rates. And then other notable features are like flexible payment processing, which is actually more important in the Middle East and Africa region, as well as the Americas, but less so for larger chains. Price comparison tools are rated 6.3 overall, but are less important for large chains, but more important in the Middle East and Africa region. And and then compliance with web content accessibility guidelines is valued highly by large chains and in the Americas. We already mentioned that you both have an customized IBE solution, so meaning you have more flexibility in terms of functionalities that you actually want to include. So what have you focused on most in the past, and what is on the list of to-dos, basically? Sascha, why don't you start?
When I read through the list, I was like, why is nobody talking about B2B sales integration? Why is that not mentioned anywhere on that? Because all these points are probably related around B2C, right? But it comes back to the 36% in the beginning, that offline reservation is how do I enable, and whether these are smaller travel agents or sub-agents that book today through a DMC, how can I enable these smaller agents or corporate local companies to move away from sending emails or calling and shift them to whether it's a custom IBE or IBE. So how do I enable B2B distribution through my booking engine? And that's what we focused on over the last 4 years, right? And that was one of the key success factors, where we've got now 90% of all our reservations are coming in electronically, and that's enabling a B2B distribution portal through the custom IBE to reduce those offline reservations. The other thing I think and again, it depends on your type of portfolio that you're managing. But for us, I have hotels with, 18, 15 different room types. Take destination like Maldives. I mean, how often, for all the ones that have been to the Maldives, if you go to the Maldives, sometimes you would like to stay 3 nights in an overwater villa, and then 4 days you would like to stay in the beach. How do we enable today multi-room component bookings, right? I've not seen any IBE today that actually offers book 2 nights in room type A and book another 3 room types in room type B. So that's an opportunity that we have. And again, I'm heavy on payment and looking at payment integration. How do we enable that? Whether that is instant payment based on cancellation policy, deposit policies. How do we enable that? How do we offer alternative payment solutions in various geographic regions?
Very, very interesting. Yeah, and great achievement with the B2B tool for sure. Yeah, hostels probably a bit different. Philip, what would you focus on most?
Yeah, so let's say to past focus or past success was definitely groups. Again, 30% of our business is groups, and one USP of A&O Hostels is that we are the only operator on the hostel or budget hotel segment that offering a fully integrated, accessible group booking IBE. That means that the groups at A&O with up to 100 persons can book and pay in one online session without any manual process on our side. No option needed, no request needed, fully dynamic managed pricing, fully dynamic availabilities. So groups is number one focus for us, but also well solved right now. Second, yes, also payment solutions is something we are working on a daily basis, especially local payment options when we grow into new markets. And to answer the future part of Christine's question, displayment of reviews is priority right now for us at A&O to better show current reviews to engage or people to book directly.
Interesting. Okay. And then probably also more personalized reviews, right? So that you display the correct review to the correct booker.
I mean, personalization is definitely another field we are focusing on, and then comes with this also personalized reviews then, because a group booking, I mean, who's responsible for group booking? It's a teacher. He needs other reviews than a couple wants to stay a weekend in Hamburg to visit a musical or whatever. So personalization is definitely important, prioritized at A&O.
Yeah, cool. Okay. Then let's jump to the item sales.
Item sales, yes. So what is the status quo of item sales through the IBE today? And we mean here the sale of products and services individually independent of a room booking. As you can see today, only 25% of the IBEs used by our study participants offer item sales, and here small chains lead. And regionally, the Middle East Africa region has the highest adoption at 40%, while APAC stands at 0%. And looking at the interest in implementing item sales, 3/4 of respondents are open to implementing item sales in the future, and 92% of medium-sized chains are considering this functionality. So we are very interested in knowing what is the status of item sales at A&O Hotels and Hostels, Philip. And maybe Sascha, also you would like to add something on that.
So I would say 15-16% of our total revenue is non-room revenue, so additional item sales. So it's important field for us. Meal plans works well here. Breakfast, dinner, transportation working okayish. Merchandise is definitely on the lower end, if I need to rank it here. What
and
works
Philip, this
well?
can all be booked individually of a room booking, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
You can book it within the normal booking funnel. Select the room first and select the meal plan, whatever. You can do it without or beside the normal booking funnel. After sales, you can do it app, you can do it web. So there are different touch points where we try to stimulate guests to book additional items. What I'd like to mention here as well is that what works very well for us is there was some background noise.
Yes, that was my dog. Sorry.
Okay. So I can definitely recommend to do voucher sales. especially now at Black Friday or Christmas. Travel vouchers are working really great for us, for our business. And some future potential on that field I see in package deals for leisure FIT. This is something I like to implement within the next year.
Cool. Yeah. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Really cool.
So Philip, sorry, Sascha, what about,
Sascha.
do you do vouchers as well at Jumeirah?
Yes, we have. We've got a gift voucher storefront online, but the challenge with the gift vouchers is there is no online redemption, right? So if I buy a $1,000 gift voucher today, can I redeem that in my booking process on the custom IBE? It's not, right? So it's again, it's a manual process, and it's not ideal. It's not something that we'd like to have. So we're working on that. And for us, we're sort of in that when we look at the totals. Do you offer item sales? Yes, but it's limited. But we're constrained by our IBE provider today, right? Or let me put it this way: on the custom IBE, you've got CRS providers that have realized that retail is an opportunity for them to provide solutions to the brands that want to drive the retail strategy, but there are constraints. There's great progress being made at the moment on the non-custom IBEs, but when we look at custom IBEs, we're still talking about probably another 10 to 15 month development time until that can actually be shifted over to what we are using today. And that's not just gift vouchers, but it's gift voucher redemption. So it's payment integration that is key to a retail strategy to us. And then besides gift vouchers, also the sale of experiences and inventory-based items, which is can be a bit complex, but that's what we're focusing on for the next 15.
Well, and Philip, can you use the vouchers or basically redeem the vouchers on your website directly?
Yes, it's fully integrated on the website. Guests can, on one hand, redeem the vouchers. We do also some upselling within the voucher booking funnel. That means, as you probably know, I mean, there's low season, there's high season. You like to have the guests with vouchers more in the low season. If they try to redeem a voucher in high season, it's maybe some extra payment needed. All this is fully integrated and automated on our IBE.
Cool. Nice. Okay. Well, then let's jump to the next topic, which is AI. So let's finally talk about AI. So this slide, exactly, right? So this shows our current shows the current and planned uses of AI and machine learning on the hotels, IBEs, and websites today. And current AI usage has increased significantly compared to 2020. So 37% of chains use AI for yield management today. And then nearly 1/3 of chains use AI for content creation, and slightly fewer use it for AI-powered chatbots. And then only 9% use AI for personalized bookings and 2% for voice-activated services. So AI for personalized bookings has the highest planned growth, with 33% planning to use AI to initiate actions, and nearly 1/3 of the chains planning to expand into chatbots and yield management. So the use of AI in hotel IBEs is expected to nearly double, with the highest growth potential in personalized bookings, as we discussed before. And currently most used for yield management and content creation. So what are the AI use cases that you're most excited about coming, Sascha?
I'll take content creation. I mean, personalized booking, it sounds great. And, having AI customize or draft up your next stay at one of the properties sounds all great, right? But I always say, let's focus on that once we've got the basics right. And when I look at hotel websites today, and it goes across all brands. Doesn't matter if it's a global chain or a small or independent hotels. When I look at brand.com content today, it is still not good today, right? And that is whether these are room type descriptions, whether these are restaurant content, whether that is facilities. It is still a big challenge. And let's not talk about translation, right? I mean, talk about your own homegrown native language, but when you talk about translating that into 5-6 different languages on rate code descriptions, room type descriptions, it's a bit of a wild west out there when it comes to hotel content, right? So I think the biggest opportunity to have a quick fix and big win for us is around content creation and multi-language translation. And then once we got that covered, I think then personalized bookings is an area where we could look at, and even the OTAs is still at a very early stage. I've seen early pilots from our colleagues from Booking.com or Expedia, and there are attempts to move into that as well, but it's still early stage, right?
And Sascha, do you have any take on the content creation part by using AI? So are there any ideas already discussed that you would like to disclose here?
Disclose, right? We actually, so what we have done is about 9-10 months ago, so we actually have established an AI department. So we've dedicated internally resources that work on a number of AI projects. So these are dedicated resources that do nothing else but looking at either external vendors, of bringing external vendors onto AI projects or developing it in-house. And that's not just customer focused, but that's also increased efficiency internally. How can we use that? So we have a roadmap for the next 3 to 4 years on where we see AI being introduced into the company, whether that is customer facing or non-customer facing. But yeah, you don't want to roll out something that is not 100% right.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Absolutely, yeah.
So what about you, Philip? Any AI departments as well?
Yes, we do.
Yes, nice.
Yeah, I mean, we have an AI or machine learning based revenue management system with Pace from Flyer. We run since 3 years now an AI knowledge based chatbot, including booking payment functionality. Voice bot in service center should be next. But I have to say, most excited I am about personalization. Ranking room types differently, descriptions from for different type of customers, AI-based retargeting if someone is not placing the booking at first try, so on and so forth. These are all fields we are focusing on. We have some experience with a lot of these mentioned here. I would say 4 out of 5 or 6. And yeah, let's see what comes next.
Yeah, great.
And Philip, just a question, and you don't have to answer it, but do you have concrete plans in rolling this out? So, for instance, early 2025, there will be some releases regarding AI.
It's definitely reflected in our budget, but I can't publish a date right now.
No, okay, thank you.
But I will keep you in the loop.
Very good.
Cool. So let's talk about innovation. Since we're already on the topic of AI, what is coming up in the next 2 years?
Yeah, and we took a broader look, as Christine said, on the area of innovation. And here are the emerging areas of innovation within the next 2 years compared with the results from our last year's study. So rules-based AI for process optimization and recommendation engines leads with 76%. And direct booking of local experiences and activities has surged in importance, up 26 percentage points to almost 70% now. Then creativity-focused AI is emerging as a new area with 67% planning to deploy it. And chatbots with full booking capabilities are also seen as important, with 63% interested in this area. And we also have some areas of declining focus, at least in terms of innovation. I don't think it's declining focus overall. So energy management has seen a significant decline. ESG is also down, and robotic process automation, which I believe is very important. AR, VR, metaverse, and blockchain technology, have lower expectations in today compared to 2023. So the question is, which innovation areas jump out most to you, Philip, and then Sascha?
Yes, it's definitely ESG. I mean, a lot of these points are in our focus, and a lot of things have been done already in A&O, and we are working on improvements. But if I need to pick one really important point, it's ESG. It's definitely up for A&O compared to these numbers here. Why? Because, I mean, it's super important since years for our core target group, and that's why we are also deep in this. For example, even back in 2015, we measured and published our cabin footprint for the first time, and with 15 kilogram CO2 emissions per overnight, we already achieved a super low number back in 2015 because people share a room at a hostel. We don't have any spa or pool area. We are very space and process efficient. But still today, this topic is super important for us, for A&O top management, as well as for every one of our 1,500 employees. So all of us really focus on our daily business in the question how we can further reduce our cabin footprint to enable everyone to travel in the future. And with today just 3.3 kilogram per overnight, we are very, very good at it. I mean, it's 75% improvement compared to 2015. But again, we try everything to further decrease it downwards to net zero as soon as possible. So again, to pick one out of these topics, it's ESG. It's super important at A&O.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. That's very important. Sascha, what's your take on that?
My take on that is I was surprised that RPA is so low and it's going to conclude down to 25%. Because I'm with you, Michaela, that is, when it comes to my department and my team, RPAs are super important. But I think it's probably a terminology thing here, because when I look at your first one, the 76% that comes up at the highest, that is rule-based AI for process optimization or recommendation engines, right? Now, an RPA is nothing but a process optimization. So it may not be, or maybe the case that RPA is not a terminology that is as known as process optimization or AI today, because to me, they're both the same, right? And I use RPAs to optimize processes, and that is whether that's around rate distribution, whether that is around restriction management, whether that is on payment, right? Automating BCC payment. Today, I don't have a single person in the company that charges a virtual credit card. It's all automated through RPAs. And that increases efficiency. So I think that 25 is probably, when explained what RPA means to the entire audience, it would probably jump up to the 50s or 60s or even the 70s when I look at what comes out on top.
Yeah.
We also see. But I mean, RPA is also evolving, and AI is going. I mean, it is also already a machine learning process, but we see more AI flowing into RPA as well. So I would definitely agree that you can also see it as part of our AI topics that we had at the time.
I always have the debate: is RPA AI or is RPA not AI?
That is debatable, I think.
Yes. And we will definitely bring this up.
If I've got a robot doing the job, it might be a slower pace. But
Yeah.
I think we can run another webinar completely on RPAs. So.
Do you
That's in
employ
the plans.
RPAs, Philip?
We do. Again, if the question, is it AI, is it machine learning, is it robotics? Really visible is our self-cleaning robot running through our guest floors and hoovering the floors, entering the elevator, moving to the next floor. This is really exciting to see and a great example of robotics we're using even today. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. That's cool. Cool. Yeah. And then I think we are at the end of the webinar. If there isn't anything else that you would like to add. Thank you so much, you two, Sascha and Philip, for joining us today and for being part of this great discussion. Also, of course, big thank you to our audience for your questions and your participation. And yeah, of course, you can find out more about the study and get some more insights as well on our website. So if you head on over to h2c.de, and you can download the public report there. And I think we've already shared this in the comments section, but we'll do so again now. And yeah, as we already said, we are excited to begin working on our new study. And as we were just discussing AI and RPA and is this robotics, automation, AI, we're going to dive into that in more detail in our next study, which is going to be titled AI and Automation. So just a shout out to all of those watching, if you want to be part of that study, either as a hotel chain responding to our questionnaire or as a vendor interested in sponsoring, please don't hesitate to reach out. So thank you once again, everyone. And yeah, thank you for joining and have a great rest of the day. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.